Right. So I'm from Transformation Cornwall. I joined the team quite recently in April, and thank you for the time that I can get to share what we do at Transformation Cornwall. I'm sure most of you know what we do, but just to recap, our vision is to see faith in action at the heart of flourishing communities in Cornwall. And our aim is to strengthen faith-based social action, where we tackle poverty and exclusion. And when we say faith-based social action, it doesn't only mean churches, it means people of faith with project ideas and new things that they want to develop. So we do our work in 3 different key ways. And the first is by training and resourcing. So I'm sure everybody knows about the Meet the Funders program that is run annually. We have a spring event. This year it was in May, and next year we plan it for the 27th of April, where there's about 8 funders and people of experience that come and talk about their projects, and the funder give top tips, what to do, how to access funding. Then we also do some training workshops. Next year we do the Worry About Money leaflet training in January. And we develop various resources that is available on our website. It includes toolkits, grant list, food bank bulletins, telephone signposting lists. So if you need to access any of that, it is available on our website. So Meet the Funders, I've told you about. We also do the one-on-one work where we do tailored support on request with various groups and churches, organizations, where we work together to see how we can support and strengthen that specific social action that needs to be taken to a next level. We're also involved with places of welcome, growing good, we want to launch next year, and warm places. I'm mentioning a lot of things here. We'll go into depth in some of it just after these slides. We also collaborate and we network. It's quite an important part of our work is the collaboration. We've established the Faith and Mental Health Network. We are partnering with churches together on the Modern Slavery Network. And then we do a lot of support for food banks and food provision groups. So our current work involves, sorry about that, Meet the Funder events, the Warm Places campaign. I'm sure everybody's heard about that. I'll give some more information about that now after this. Places of welcome. We also launched the Donate the Rebate campaign in September. Then community conversations is another area of work that we started with. A brand new work that we're rolling out next year on behalf of the diocese is the Net Zero Cut Carbon, Cut Costs. I'm going to tell you more about that one. I'm sure you will all be very interested in that. And we can learn also from this amazing work you're already doing. As I said, Worry About Money training is current work that we're involved with. And then also a pension credit campaign that we hope to launch in December. And further ongoing development with various groups. Has everybody heard about the Warm Places campaign? Great, get some yeses. So it is a campaign that was launched on a national level that Transformation Cornwall tapped in to make available here in Cornwall, and the take-up has been very good so far. The only criteria is that there's got to be some offer of hospitality, obviously a warm space and a hot drink, and that it's safe and preferably accessible for wheelchairs and people with difficult mobility issues. There's a link that we can forward if you want to register your activities as a warm place. It's good for signposting. This is what it looked like in September 2022. It's very small on the map there, but if you can see it, there's two little red dots on the map in September 22, where two venues have registered as warm places. And November 2022, there were, I think, 26 places registered, mainly churches. And this is great for anybody that's looking for a warm place to go in to see what time the place is available. Is it in their area available? It's good for signposting. A newish activity that we have embarked on is places of welcome, because places of welcome latch onto the warm places. So in summertime, when we don't need warm places, there's still a place of welcome. People can access it. And again, it will be signposted on a map. And it's got the same criteria, some kind of refreshment, accessible, people that can maybe hear, a place where you can share skills. We've got 3 groups already signed up on a place of welcome, and it works the same way as warm places where there's a map. So people can check in their area if there's a place of welcome. And the idea is that it's open to anybody to come in and share, just reduce loneliness, get out of isolation, and just to be together, especially in these difficult times that we are in. Donate the Rebate. Has anybody heard about the Donate the Rebate campaign?
Yeah.
Good. Now, that is something we're very proud of. It was initiated by Canon Alan Bashford of the Truro Cathedral. He actually instigated the campaign. He said that several parishioners came to him wondering how to donate their rebate to those who need it most. And he said in his words, it's in the Cornish DNA to be a good neighbor. And this campaign makes it so simple to share resources in the most tangible of ways. And Bishop Hugh Nelson has been a great champion for this Donate the campaign. And he said this campaign is in the true spirit of one and all. For many people, the support that is coming from the energy bills is desperately needed and won't be enough. Others don't need the help, but they will be able to donate their rebate. And if we all pull together like this, we can make a real difference and make sure people get the support they need. And then he said, please give all you can. And it's just marvelous the way how this has been going. In the last 3 months, we managed to raise £6,000, and the aim is 10,000 up to January. And this money is all going to Cornwall Community Foundation, where they redistribute the funds to local grassroots organization with their campaign that is called Poverty Hurts. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, we can send a link. We've been privileged to be chosen by Trussell Trust to host a campaign manager for community conversations. And this is a new thread that we're getting into, because it's so important to hear the voices of the people that is receiving support and that is in the communities. And it's all about what are the issues in the local communities. So our new campaign manager goes out. We've started with the food support groups, and we have conversations there to hear what are the issues in the local settings. We've done one of these conversations in the Newquay area with the food support group there. And I think the issues are almost everywhere the same, but in some areas there's a greater priority to certain issues. And in the new key area, the issues that came up front was that the seasonal work is a bit of a problem for people because they get work during the season time, and winter time they don't have work, and that affects their income, and obviously they have to use food support groups to support them and clothes banks. These conversations, we pick the main issues and then escalate it with the people in power, and I've been privileged to be invited to councillors and a member of parliament to take some of these issues further, because we discuss what the possible solutions are with the community as well. We want them to participate and say what they think, what is the best way to solve the issues. A big thing is childcare. A lot of people said they would like to work, especially mothers, but they can't because they can't afford to put their children in childcare. So those will be issues that will be taken further, specifically for the new key area. So having mentioned all of this, I ran through it very quickly, I think maybe too quick. It will be good to go out into breakout rooms and just think, what does strengthening faith-based social action look like through a creation care lens? And then to get some input, if somebody from the group can feedback, what do you see Transformation Cornwall do more? Or what can Transformation Cornwall add to their work that can support this social action, to strengthen it? And if you think there should be more partners, who do we partner with? At the moment, our main partners is the diocese, the Methodist Church. We work closely with Trussell Trust, Independent Food Aid Network, and also some of the free churches, and obviously the council.
Well, yeah, for example, in Ludgervan Church, we have literally just this minute decided that we want to do something with the local community to effectively create a warm place. But I didn't realise that that's what we had in mind until Anne started talking about it this morning. So that's what we've got in mind, to create something like that in the village. And we've just had the idea and are just scratching our heads about, well, how on earth do we start going about that? And lo and behold, Transformation Cornwall, that's what they're about. They can advise us and guide us and say, have you thought of this and have you thought of that, and give us various options, rather than us starting from scratch with this little idea. They say, why recreate the wheel? Transformation Cornwall has got lots of experience from little churches, just like ours, who are starting on this this little journey.
Oh, well, no pressure there, Anne.
No, I'm up for it. I'm totally up for it.
So we had two more groups. That one was with Andrew Hill. I wrote you down, Andrew. I wondered if there's any reporting back from your group.
Tricky, and we have a sort of varied conflict. We'd heard about some things that were happening in some of the different churches, and a bit more about that. I think the thing I mentioned was the tricky thing about time, and Transformation Cornwall, and there's a whole load of other people we can network with as well. And if you're not careful, you spend all your time networking and not actually doing. But on the other hand, if you just do and you don't network, you don't learn from the others. So we recognise that this was a tension that we've all got to battle with, and maybe some of us lean more towards one way than the other. But we were encouraged to hear what was happening in the different churches, and also what Transformation Cornwall's doing.
And I think we got Ben, your group.
Yeah, I was there to a point, and then I had to duck out momentarily. So there may be two parts to this, but One of the things I heard about, which I'm amazed I didn't know about, was this thing called the Welcome Wall that's underneath Truro Cathedral Cafe, which is this wall with hooks on it where coats and things hang that people can help themselves to. And Maggie was talking about how do we effectively take from our excess where we have spare. Recycling is very much a part of creation care, of actually making sure that things are fully used and have multiple lives after we think we're done with them. So actually there's something about clothing and other items for those who have a need and where we have an excess, and just wondering how we can, I guess how we could maybe replicate that across our county and make it a more fruitful and a more pointed to thing. I will tell you that when I was parish vicar once of a church, we set up our own swap system internally so that people could trade from what they didn't need or wanted and looking for something else. And we called it Sea of eBay until we got in huge amounts of trouble with eBay and had to not call it Sea of eBay. But it was quite a lot of fun until it, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah, and on that, the Mums and Toddlers group in Helston at the Methodist Church, they do a similar thing with children's clothes, and that's great because you've got a sort of a particular age group, and they who do grow out of their clothes quickly, and it's really, I mean, they don't do it every week or anything, but 2 or 3 times a year they have a bring in the clothes you don't need and others can take from it, and I think it's just a great thing to do. And it's simple if you've got the group there already to organise it. So yeah.
And
That has come up many times. Both Anne and I were sat in church together in Cornwall meeting earlier this week, and there were a number of churches and organisations there who are becoming hubs for clothing as a recycling point. Maggie, I know you wanted to say something, but I can see Anne with her hand up very patiently. So Anne, do you want to jump in and then we'll come to Maggie?
Yeah, just very quickly, we were when we were in our group, I was saying I was struggling to try and marry up the two things. I could see the social action and the eco stuff, but it was marrying them up. And as usual, when you come away from something, you think, oh, I now know. But yes, I was just thinking, actually, in Camborne, we've got a clothes bank for children, which is obviously reusing all the stuff, and also all the feeding things we've got, the tea times and different sort of clubs where people can get food, all come from sort of community larder or whatever. So it's all food. A lot of it is food that would have been heading for landfill or whatever. So I think we need to look at how we can use that. The food is there for free usually, as long as we can get it. So,
thank you. Yeah, I mean, it reminds me actually when we were in COVID lockdown, our village started sharing vegetable plants as people grew from seed, and where there was excess, everyone swapped with each other. And that's kept going all the way through. And thinking back to Andrew Hill's partnering garden thing he shared with us earlier on, that could be another really fruitful thing about growing food, sharing resources, and the church could be right in the core of that too. Maggie, you were going to jump in.
I just wanted to say that for our isolated churches like Kirsten's and mine, building on this idea of hospitality, and so it's lots of sides of what we've been discussing, community work, having available hot drinks for people, and I loved Kirsten's idea of having small tins of baked beans that you can open there and have cold if they wish to. So if people come in and they are hungry, they can help themselves, and put a little sign. Obviously, we need something to indicate that the welcome is there. But to have food and drink available for people who are passing by, even if it's isolated church, yes, I think this is a good thing to do, and we're certainly going to do it.
Okay. And I can see Kirsten's hand up, and then we're going to pass back to Anne.
I don't think I know enough about this, but I'm under the impression that in order to access things from a food bank, you have to be referred essential services to be able to access things. That used to be the case. Maybe it's no longer the case, but forgive me. But it seems to me that one of the things that we do is to give people things without conditions and without questioning. I mean, if we had things in church spaces for people to help us, we're not going to be saying, prove to me that you need it, or we are controlling what you take. We're actually able to be generous without question, and that's a different thing from what's able to be done by social services. I may have missed the point here, because it seems to me that generosity without them is something that's part of Christianity.
Thank you, Kirsten. We've got quite a lot of interruption on the line there, but we could pick up at the direction of flow and travel on that one. But yes, thank you. Anne, do you want to kind of draw us together on this a bit more?
Yes, I would love to just talk a bit about the Net Zero Cut Carbon Cut Cost project that we're launching next year and delivering on behalf of the diocese. We're partnering in a way with Creation Care as well. So it's all about how we can make our churches more cost effective running it and cutting the carbon. We're going to have 5 workshops doing this. And the first workshop will be, why do we have to do it? Which will be done on February the 9th on the Creation Care platform. And Ben Lilly and Ellie Sheard is going to share the talk that session. And then in March, we hope to have an in-person meeting in Redruth with someone called Matt. It will be a walk and talk audit through a church to show us what to look for. And we hope to have some kind of checklists available so churches can use that to do their audits. The third session will be with the DAC in person, we hope again. How do we progress when we know what the audit is, what the costs are? How do we take this further? And we hope to have Sue Thorpe and Stephen Chidji there. Plus, thank you, plus an expert. The 4th session will be online, and that will be all about funding. So we know the cost now, we know what we want to do and how to get funding for our projects. And then the 5th session, the 4th session will be in June. 5th session, again, we end on the Creation Care platform. That will be online. Based on the surveys, we hope to have 3 or 4 webinars that we can link into, Q&As, answer, how do we take this further? What other questions do we need to answer? And we're very excited about this. This will all be recorded and available on our website. And then I just want to say, listening to what is happening already, there's fruit and seeds for projects like this one that Andrew mentioned, the ripple effect. That is really a project that can be funded and campaigned for to make more people aware of that and spread it so that more people can get involved in it. David spoke about walks. That's a project that is calling out, fund me. Really something we would love to support you guys with. And the nest and bug boxes, I think using recycled materials, and that's another project that can be ongoing and a funded project, and that we can also promote amongst other groups, easy to do projects. Just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to share. And really, if you have anything about projects, ideas, need any support, please invite us. We would love to visit you. If we can't do it in person, let's have a chat online. Thank you so much.
Fabulous, thank you. I can see your hand up there, Andrew, so I'll just come to you in a moment. Just because whenever we have one of these conversations, and here we have Anne, who's kind of our focal person in this conversation, we're probably all sitting here going, my goodness me, how does Anne possibly respond to all of this stuff on her own? And the answer is she doesn't. And you have a team who work with you, don't you? A great team of people, not great as in huge in number, but great as in deeply capable. So there's a good raft of people there who work with Anne to enable that. Andrew, what did you want to bring to the party?
I just wanted to ask if those 4 workshops are mainly Anglican focused, or are they going to be accessible for Methodist and other churches?
We do it on behalf of the diocese, but it will be open for everybody. The whole idea is that this is a movement. It is open, accessible for everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's this particular piece of work has sprung out of some diocesan funding, but part of our reason to host a couple of the elements on Creation Care Network usual dates is to kind of proliferate what we're doing and to expand that. We want to see more champions. You know, that's the reality. We want more champions across the board. And as we've already touched on right at the beginning of this meeting, if we sense that the government are failing, or those in leadership are not necessarily driving this forward, then we need to be the ones who are willing to stand in that space and help make change. Julia.
Can I just ask 2 things? How do people, are the workshops aimed at? And how do we register for it? And what are the contact details, Anne, please, for Transformation Cornwall?
Right. Rosie will share the slides. So my email address is on there. I can put it in the chat box as well. The workshops will be promoted via the Creation Care Network. I hope. I'm sure it will be.
We will, definitely.
Yeah.
We will send it out through Churches Together, that newsletters. Yeah, it will be on various platforms. It will be hopefully visible to all.
Is it likely to be an Eventbrite booking type scenario, Anne?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll need to book in and register. So just look out for those links as they come, but we will have a full programme to advertise shortly after Christmas, or possibly even before I did.
And we can put some of the save the dates, can't we, Ben, in the newsletter?
Yes, we can, absolutely. We can put the dates out that we have, so you'll have that in the newsletter. Thank you. Well, Anne, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. It's I love that, you know, our purpose to gather is to talk about creation care, is to talk about how actually we work for the good of creation and against climate crisis. And yet, of course, social action drives right into the mix of all of this as well. Of course, it crosses over, which is probably why so many of us find our time challenged occasionally trying to run between these things. But thank you for everything you shared with us and giving us another avenue that we can collaborate in and work with. So we're excited about all that's to come from that. Thank you. I've got a couple of things to share as we come into land for the day. The first thing is if you have a moment, do click onto the diocesan website. In fact, if I was really potentially clever here, let me see if I can remember how to do this. Okay, here we go. I can take you. Yep, let's go. I've probably got it open here somewhere. I haven't, but we can do it there. We have just gone through a significant revision of the creation care side of our website. So you can still come straight into this will take us to the Diocese of Truro front page. I'm on a very, very slow network connection, but there we go. And that's our normal front page, but we just decided we needed to sharpen up and tidy up the creation care side of things. So we're focusing it all down our 3 priorities: cherish, creation, cut carbon, speak up. So we've added this new 6-box element on the front. So anything that's to do with what we perceive as cherishing creation, you can click on there and it will take you through. The same with cut carbon, the same with speak up, and then Kernow Green Church Award, our network, Creation Care Network, and presently the Energy Footprint tool. And on the right-hand side, on the Find Documents area, again, we've reduced that down so that it speaks to all of the things that we're always talking about. So Creation Care Network, resources, how can I cut carbon? How do I speak up? There will also be how do I cherish creation, but I've got to add the stuff to go with that. So do access this. We're trying to make it as friendly and as engaging as possible, and to shorten the links to get to documents and information. So I hope you find that useful. The comms team have been incredibly helpful in doing this. Have I pressed the right button or the wrong button? Ooh, am I back? There we are. And I still just come back to the point, we are the only diocese in the country still to have creation care as a frontline item on our website. And that is driven from the bishops and driven through the work of Church House. So there really is a heart for this. So it's great work. And then Churches Together in Cornwall. We have a liaison role with them where it has historically been the DEO, myself, who sits on what is called the Exec Committee, which is the steering group for Churches Together in Cornwall. And I can't fulfill that role just because of the limitations on my time. My role is all about you guys. It's community facing, parish facing, and I can't make the 15 hours a week work when I'm sat in other spaces. So I've stepped away from that, but that does mean there is an opportunity here, if one of you was interested or willing, or a couple of you, to actually sit within the Churches Together in Cornwall, what's called the executive. They meet, I think, 4 times a year. And then there's the monthly Churches Together environment group. So environment is one of the specific strands of work for Churches Together in Cornwall. So I still attend that monthly meeting, but I can't do the link between the exec, so reporting on what our group and the Anglican Church are doing in that setting, and reporting back to Churches Together in Cornwall. If any one of you were interested in fulfilling that role or being a part of it, I'd love to talk to you, because we want to maintain that support for Churches Together in Cornwall. We want to maintain that link. And if that's something you felt you could do, it's not particularly arduous. They're a really great bunch of people, and it gives you a very big view of what all of the church is doing in Cornwall, because it represents all of our faith groups together. So if that tickles you or piques your interest, please do see if that connects with you. Pray about it, come and give me a shout. And they have a mix of in-person meetings, hybrid meetings, and online meetings, so it's pretty flexible. Just to point out that Monday is World Soil Day. So if you are keen on your earth and your soil and the importance of it, apparently, well, absolutely, the very stuff that we are born from, drawn together from by the Creator, is World Soil Day. So if that's something you fancy drawing into, then make some noise about that in your local setting. And David and Joan mentioned briefly the Facebook site. Excuse me just a moment. We are up and running with that, but we feel the right thing to do initially is to restrict is the wrong word, but we just want to hold it for Creation Care Champions initially. So people who are established as Creation Care Champions, because we are building an environment that's a safe place where we can talk to one another, ask questions. So each one of you is welcome to subscribe to that, and you can contact Rosie and she can send you a link, or you can find Creation Care Network on Facebook and ask to be signed up. There's 3 questions on there about which parish you come from, are you a Creation Care Champion, and who is your rector, I think, or your vicar. And if you don't answer those, it actually automatically won't allow you to join, because we had to put some parameters into the system. But it's, for the moment, we'd ask that if we can keep it to Creation Care Champions rather than sort of expand it too wide. Let's see how that grows, get our culture making sense, and then we'll draw other people into that. But it will be a good tool for sharing information over. And then I think finally, next time we're gathering is the 12th, so it's the second Thursday of January. So that begins our new pattern, and it's a daytime meeting. So it's the 12th of January between 10 and 12. And we're being joined, we very much hope, by Reverend Roisin from Transforming Mission Camborne, who have established something they call Wild Church. And we're looking forward to hearing about that. So I think that's everything on notices. Rosie, was there anything else to bring to the party?
No, those are the things.
Anything else that you have anyone else needs to share or wanted to pop into the room? This is your moment. Okay, I'll take that quietness as we're all set. Friends, thank you. It is, as ever, a complete privilege to share in this journey with you. It's a complete privilege to see your faces and hear your stories. This is the whole purpose of what we were trying to do, was to actually grow this together. It's something very organic, it's something very natural, and it is spreading and it is growing. And that's because of your work and your commitment and your passion to this. So bless you. You have no idea how much you bless me. So just thank you. And Advent is here. Enjoy this time of expectant waiting, but Christmas is coming. So enjoy that time of rejoicing in the birth of Christ and all that that means to us in our life journeys together. And I wish you well for Christmas and the new year. We'll see you on the other side. And I'll just pray as we go. Father God, Creator God, thank you for the so many ways in which you bless us. As we share, we hear challenges and we hear pain and we hear difficulty. We struggle with why others don't seem to be able to grasp how important it is to respond to this climate crisis we see before us. Would you give us endless capacity for disappointment? That seems like an odd prayer, but we need that capacity to keep going. And then would you show us glimmering nuggets of goodness, just the beautiful things that are happening, the small steps that really are changing the world, certainly changing our worlds, but give us wide vision to see a world where the poorest are blessed and loved and enabled, and where there is a growing sense of equality. And would you help us in this journey towards net zero? We love your planet, our home. Would you help us and equip us to just share more with others, get more people on board and genuinely see lasting, fruitful, sustainable change that this planet might survive, and with it the whole of humanity. Amen.